Hey, welcome to Casey Cares, the voice of Kansas City's nonprofits. We share the stories of local nonprofits and the individuals who drive them. At Casey Cares, we connect the nonprofit and business sectors to enhance the quality of life right here in Kansas City for both our residents and visitors. This Casey Cares segment is brought to you by the Ewing Marion Kaufman Foundation, www.kaufman.org. I'm Ruth Baum-Biggis. 'Tis the season to lift others up, and today's guest is doing that in a big, powerful way. The Soul of Santa Do Good Foundation is on a mission to bring hope, resources, and true empowerment to high-functioning individuals with disabilities and their caregivers in low to moderate income households. Through storytelling, financial support, mentorship, wellness programs, education, food initiatives, and cultural experiences, this organization is creating holistic empowerment that nurtures mind, body, and soul. They're not just changing lives, they're opening doors to possibility and making sure everyone has the chance to experience the fullness of life. We're thrilled to welcome the Foundation's Executive Director, Dennis Powell, to share how they're spreading joy, support, and opportunity all year long. So let's dive in. Dennis, welcome.
Well, thank you for having me, Ruth. I'm excited and I'm honored to talk to you.
All right. Well, we first got to start with the name of the organization. Okay, Soul of Santa. Tell us how this started and why that name.
Yeah, great question. So my father-in-law, his name is Tucker Lott. He'll tell the story. He had a divine inspiration to come up with the name, the Soul of Santa. He said he got the image and went to an artist who actually has a disability. And so the journey started then, right? But he sketched it out in watercolor, and that's how it started. And so that was in the mid-'90s, actually. And so Tucker was on a journey to get the word out about the Soul of Santa, and then fast forward to bringing me on, and we started the foundation.
And tell us about creating a foundation. That's no easy lift.
It's not, and I had no nonprofit experience. I grew up, my parents always taught me to help others, so I grew up volunteering and things of that nature, but I never worked in a nonprofit sector. And so when my father-in-law started the organization, it was actually during the pandemic. And he called me. I was working in corporate. I was over in account management team and over one of our business resource groups, and had a lot of things on my plate. I also ran outreach and youth at our church. But anyway, he called me one morning and said, "Hey, I'm starting a nonprofit." And I was like, "Oh, that's fantastic. I can help you with some connections. We can come volunteer." And he let me talk for a few minutes, and then he said, "Oh no, I want you to run it." And so I told him, I said, "Let me pray about that," and felt that this was my call. And so I did a lot of research and made some connections to really help me speed up my journey as an executive director. But it's been a lot of growth over the last few years, just through trial and error and research. But it's been a rewarding experience.
All right, let's talk about why he wanted to start this nonprofit and what was at the root of it.
Yeah, so my father-in-law grew up on the East Coast in a large family, and they were what we would consider poor, right? So the holiday season for them, it was hand-me-down presents, salvage trees, and so when he got older, he wanted to give people a different experience than he had. He also grew up in a fairly segregated town, so they made him and his siblings go to different schools so that there was only one of them at each school that was African American. And so he wanted to also bring a diversity to the season. So that's how it all started. If you hear him talk, Tucker always talks about the inner person, Christmas in color. So seeing everybody's differences as a beauty as opposed to, an adversity. And so that's how it all started, right? And so he really wanted to make sure that everybody felt seen and supported. Fast forward to the mission of the foundation, he has a daughter named Aria. And so Aria lived with epilepsy. And so she faced a lot of challenges, went to college, and they told the university about her condition. And they said, "Oh, yeah, we'll work with you." But they really, found it to be a challenge. So she didn't really get to complete her initial dream of being a chiropractor. But she transitioned to becoming an educator. And so we really wanted to find a way to support people like Aria, people that were, like I said, overlooked, forgotten, a lot of times. Just they needed resources that they couldn't access. And so that's why we formed a foundation.
So Aria is heart and center, the core of this. Can you tell us a little bit about her?
Yeah, she was a beautiful person. Unfortunately, she's no longer with us in body, but her spirit drives the work that we do. But she was a gifted singer, a beautiful voice. We have original music that she recorded. And so she also was, like I said, she's an educator. So she taught students with special needs because she wanted to help people like her. She also was a writer. And like I said, she's the backbone of the mission. We had a meeting when I started as executive director, and I said, we really got to narrow our focus. And we talked for a few minutes, and we were kicking some ideas around, and all of a sudden, she had a real soft voice. She said, why not help people like me? And so that is what drives me still today. And so Aria, like I said, she is the inspiration, the heart, the backbone of everything that we do. I've created a program in her honor to try to help keep her memory alive, and again, to help people like her. But like I said, if you're so inclined, you can check out some of our original music and hear her angelic voice. But she's missed dearly, but like I said, she's with us in spirit.
Give the website so we all know where to go hear that.
Oh, yeah. So our website is the soul, SOUL, of Santa.org.
And so are you only focused on Christmas? Let's talk about your programming specifically, because Santa kind of hangs in December.
Great question. No, we are year round. We do good 365. That's our motto there. And so, again, I created a program in honor of Aria. It's called the Aria Camille Empowerment Program. That program assists individuals in that target population, so individuals with disabilities that are higher functioning, as well as caregivers and parents. So it comes with a stipend. It also comes with both personal and professional development. So I mentor everyone in the program, and then also whatever field they're pursuing, I find a mentor for them in that area. So one of our biggest successes is we have a law student that's getting ready to take the bar next year. And so I was able to connect her with the sitting judge as a mentor to help her along the way. And so that also comes with wraparound services. So if it's food, clothing, transportation support, whatever that is, they get that for 12 months. They can reapply after the 12 months if they're still in school or if they're a business owner that still needs assistance. And so that's our flagship. We also have a support network. So it's called the Soul Support Network. And that network comes with educational series that I do both online and through presentations. So it's to really amplify the disparity for the people of color with disabilities and chronic conditions. A lot of times we're not included in studies and research. And so just shining a light on that, but also providing next steps on what we can do to change that. It also has a podcast that we're launching called Soldier Standing Tall. And so that podcast will bring awareness, break stigmas, and also shine a light on remarkable individuals. And then we're also working on a support group for parents and caregivers. We also have a mental health awareness walk that we do annually in partnership with another nonprofit I'm on the board of called Uplifting People and Properties. So again, that's to highlight the mental health disparities. Again, so individuals with disabilities are 5 to 10 times more likely to have mental distress. So that's anxiety, thoughts of suicide,
oh my gosh,
thoughts of isolation. And then parents and caregivers are twice as likely to have a mental challenge. And so that's with feeling overwhelmed, right? A lot of times when they get the initial word of their child's disability, they go through some things at that point too. So we really want to shine a light on that. But again, provide next steps. So we work with organizations that can help with counseling and other services. And then we also do a food distribution monthly. So in partnership with harvesters, we distribute about 20 to 25,000 pounds of food each first Friday of the month to over 250 families. And then at that same location, we have a pantry. So that's open on Wednesday evenings. We also do community assistance. So our foundation has awarded 8 vehicles in only 3 years. We know that transportation is a big need for our target population. And so we really focus on that. Aria had lost her driver's license due to some car accident she had when she had seizures. And so we saw the effect of having to rely on public transportation and also paid transportation. So we try to help with that. So those are some of our flagships. We also have some books that we authored. I wrote a book that introduces children to savings and banking. Aria wrote a book that's centered on diversity and belonging. It's about a child with a disability feeling isolated in the classroom. So we go to organizations like the Children's Place, schools like Tolbert Academy, Holiday Elementary, places like that. We read the book. We give out snacks and toys and copies of the book. So that's called It's Never Not Christmas. So those are some of our main programs.
Wow, that's a lot of programs. Let's go back for a minute if we can. You said people with disabilities who are high functioning. So what kind of disabilities are we talking about? Obviously, epilepsy is one of them. you had
Yes,
mentioned.
yeah, anything under the ADA. And so the only requirements is that they need to be able to work or live independent or be enrolled in school. But that's anything. So diabetes, ADHD, autism, any disability, we'll be able to support them with our program.
And this is primarily for people of color?
It's for everyone, but yeah, those are the individuals that tend to need more support, just based on socioeconomic needs and things of that nature. But we're here for everyone. Like I said, it's about the inner person, so we're here to help whoever we can.
How do folks get to you? How do you find people that need this kind of support?
So on our website, you can go on there. You can nominate individuals for community assistance or yourself if you need that. You can apply for our ACE program. There's an application process for that. But then we get a lot of word of mouth, a lot of phone calls, emails. So we prefer that you go on the website because it's easier for us to track. But like I said, any way that people get to us, we try to make sure we review the case and help as many people as we can. One thing I'll say is we're primarily self-funded. So in my role as executive director, I also wear many other hats, including grant writer and all that good stuff. But primarily, my father-in-law Tucker's business is the funder for the work that we do.
Wow. All right. So there's you and a staff of 800, right?
Right, you're 800 of me, yeah. But yeah, we rely heavily on volunteers at this point. Like I said, we're still growing. Definitely looking to add staff, but right now you're looking at them.
Is it something that, can you really use volunteers and can they help you with this work?
Absolutely. So again, on our website, I have a volunteer page where you can sign up. I have all the roles listed out, and so if you're inclined to help out, you can go on there. We always need help with our food distributions, and we look for mentors for the ACE program and things of that nature. So yeah, you can go on our website and sign up, and we can review that.
How do you do this? You got a lot of balls in the air. So share with a lot of our audiences, other nonprofit leaders. How do you do it? What are your tips to stay sane?
I'll tell you, I don't know everybody's religious beliefs, so I want to say that. But for me, it's a lot of prayer and a lot of faith. I again, anything that I do, I always pray first, and I felt like this was my calling, and it's proven itself to be true. I've been able to connect with a lot of great people, seen a lot of success in a short amount of time. So for me, that's what keeps me grounded, and then just spending time with my wife and our families. That kind of gives me a reset. Also love sports, so taking a break and doing things and then coming back has helped me as well. But just kind of really, I live off of checklists. I'm really big on my schedule. I'm keeping my calendar updated, and that helps me as well. I kind of manage all the tasks that I'm working on.
That's amazing that you're doing all of that. Well, we can't avoid the elephant in the room. December is a busy month for Soul of Santa. You've had lots of activities. So share with us kind of what December looks like for your organization and how you're able to pull it off.
Yeah, so call it an extravaganza, right? So there's a series of events. So we do 2 tree lighting ceremonies. And so really the way everything started was Tucker, as far as we can find, established the first official tree lighting ceremony for 18th and Vine. And so that's really where everything kicked off. And so we do 2 tree lightings now with 50-foot trees that come in from Oregon. We do a full program where we have performers, singers, speakers, dignitaries, the mayor, people like that come out. We also highlight community partners and then small businesses. So we do those. We also do 2 free community breakfast events. Those events come with a full hot meal that's catered by the Prospect KC, which is one of our partners. We also give out brand new winter clothing. We have a STEM partner called Cyber Creations Tech that comes out and does activities with the youth. We also give them brand new toys, and then they learn about financial education from Pathway Education. And then we do health services like screenings with University Health and Samuel U. Rogers. And then they take pictures with the Soul of Santa on the way out the door with their families. We also have the Kansas City Star that comes up and does family portraits for free. And then we have our fundraiser events. So we do Christmas karaoke fundraiser. So we partner with some Kansas City icons like the Royal Chief and Lena Page Thomas and Glenn Robinson, who does the food reviews, and Busy Benton, who started 816 Day. We also have an ice skating rink. So it's a pop-up 6-week ice skating rink. Synthetic ice is safe. And so this year we had it at the Landing Mall. And so That is a fundraiser, but it's also affordable for families. The tickets are only $10 for five and up. And so we do those, and we have a benefit concert. So we had Darkest Gates, who is a Kansas City icon and also a Las Vegas legend, that performed for us. And so we do those annually, and it keeps growing. So I know next year is going to be even bigger. But we do have some, like I said, some great partners. We do have Sean Edwards, who works for Fox 4, that helps us with production of our events. And so, again, we rely on volunteers, but also partners that help us pull these off.
How are you able to cultivate all these partnerships? I mean, that's an incredible list of people and organizations that you work with.
Ru, I am not afraid to say hello. And I'm not afraid to ask to go to coffee or lunch, because you never know what opportunities will arise. You don't know what synergies that there are until you talk to someone. So I'm really big on that. I believe that collaboration is the key to success, and so I'll talk to just about anyone that's willing to talk to me to see what we can do together.
So focus so heavily in December. How do you, reach out to this population, et cetera? You said, you have First Fridays, where people can come in and get food, et cetera. But how do you keep connected? By February, everybody's past Santa and they're on to, Valentine's Day, and then, all the rest of the fun holidays in the calendar.
Yeah, and that has been a challenge, to be transparent. That the name and the imagery of the foundation. So I feel like I have a remedy for that coming with 2026. But yeah, what I do is I rely on those partnerships to help make sure that we raise awareness about the services that we provide, so that people are aware of us outside of December. It is a challenge to get people to turn that switch from thinking about just the holidays to, oh, you guys are doing things year round. But like I said, I rely on a lot of word of mouth through partnerships, and we try to stay really active on social media with our newsletters, things of that nature. But it's really all about just spreading awareness.
What would you say at this point? You said you were birthed during the pandemic, really created. That had its own challenges, I'm sure.
Yes.
But as you're rolling forward, you've got your feet on the ground now. You've been around what are the greatest challenges that you all face, and how are you dealing with them?
Yeah, I think everybody funding is always a challenge, especially for small nonprofits that are growing. But again, just awareness, I think, has been one of the biggest challenges for us. Again, getting that, that imagery that automatically gets you to think, oh, I can just come back to you guys in December. Getting that obstacle out the way has been a challenge. So I think those things, but with what we're doing to navigate them, like I said, I feel like we have a really good plan, and I don't want to spoil it yet, for 2026 on what we're going to do to really help with branding and awareness on the foundation to get that kind of holiday obstacle out the way. And then also, again, with the funding, like I said, I do a lot of grant writing, doing a lot of outreach and sponsorships. But as we grow, the interest has risen from other people to work with us, to support us. And so that, I guess the work has really raised the ship with that. But I would say, just the other part of it is need more hands. The more ideas I have, the more I put on my own plate. And so just having more help. And so again, hopefully as we grow, the plan is to add, staff over a 3 to 5 year strategic plan, excuse me. So.
Do you have a board? I mean, how are you organized and governed in terms of, all that good stuff?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, we do have a board. We have a tremendous board that, meets with us, hears my ideas, gives us feedback, helps us spread the mission. But we do have some tremendous board members. Rob Rogers, who runs Mid-State Aerospace, is one of them. He's very tied into the community. He's been a great help. John Wood. So I'm not going to go through the list because I don't want to forget anybody. But we have some great board members that have really helped with making sure that we're staying on mission, and also helping with attaining resources to continue to work.
How'd you go about creating your board? I think often that's a question for nonprofits: is how do I choose who comes and how do we get them, et cetera?
Great question. So my Tucker, my father-in-law, had already established the board before he called me to run the foundation.
That work was done.
Right. But over the years, we've had some, just people that had other things come up, scheduling conflicts. And so we've had to, get new board members along the way. So what I always do, I always like to meet with someone first, talk to them about what we're doing, see if they're interested, and then of course you take it to the board for a vote. But what I've learned is that you can tell really quickly if somebody's passionate about the mission. And for our organization, that's really important that board members are really dialed in to what we're trying to do, because if there's no interest, they're not going to be invested in the growth. So, like I said, I like to do that interest meeting first to really gauge where they're at, and then go from there.
So your father-in-law started this. I got to ask the question: how is it to work with family? In that situation, and how do you deal with that?
You know, I love it. I'm a family oriented person, but there are some challenges. Sometimes the lines get a little blurred between, work and you're my son-in-law, and then, just my wife and other family members that, again, it started as a family organization because
Right.
that's who we had at the beginning. And so, that has been challenging a little bit, but not really. I mean, it's been more of a blessing than anything to have family connected and invested in what we're doing. So it's been great.
Now, you came into this nonprofit position, though, from private business. What were some of the skills, et cetera, that have helped you from that into your nonprofit role?
Yeah, so I also have an MBA, and so I really run our foundation like a business. I try to make sure we're doing everything that we need to do appropriately, right? But I really, like I said, I really try to function as a business, even though we're a nonprofit. So all the skills I've learned throughout the years, the knowledge I've obtained, I implement that in everything that we do. Try to be very strategic, right? I know it looks like a lot, and it is, right? But for me, it's very strategic, and there's synergy, right? There's commonalities in what we're doing, so it's not a lot of rework. It's just expanding, right? And so that's how I approach it. Like I said, it's a great question, but I look at it with a business mind, and I think that's helped me blend that with my service background. Like I said, growing up, volunteering, going to nursing homes, helping with seniors getting onto the church van, all that good stuff, all the cleaning the church up, all those principles that were instilled in me growing up, tied in with my business background, it really helped us.
What were those surprises, though? Things that you thought, I never thought of that coming into this kind of work.
I would say the challenge of people, and then not really knowing, because everybody has great ideas, right? There's a lot of tremendous organizations out here, and so not knowing that just because you have a great idea doesn't mean you're going to get support, right? And so I think that was probably one of the biggest surprises. I'm like, I got this great thing. I'm coming in. I got everything spelled out, and sometimes you get those people that just like, oh, we're just not a fit. And so I think that was probably one of the biggest surprises. But in terms of organization, I think that I researched a lot before I really went all in, right? I wanted to make sure I was prepared as an executive director before I really started, even adding new board members and things of that nature. And so I think just that planning and preparation kind of helped avoid some of those big surprises. But of course, there are always challenges and obstacles. That's life, right? But nothing too big that we couldn't overcome.
Well, it sounds like you're telling us do your homework.
I'm very analytical. I'm a creative as well. I think I have a good blend, but I'm very, very analytical. And like I said, I like to, prepare before I make any moves. So
I am so impressed by the number of partnerships that you have. What's your secret sauce there? I mean, it's not always easy to cultivate a partnership.
I don't really know, Ruth, if there's a secret for me. I love people. I love talking to people, and I love working with other people. I've always been like that, and I think people see that maybe when I reach out to them, when we have meetings about things. I think that they see that I'm genuine. I'm not just trying to check a box off or attach to someone just to say that I'm working with somebody, but I really want to collaborate, right? Because I feel like the more we work together, again, the bigger reach we can have. I think when we work in silos, when we try to hoard resources or things of that nature, we only hurt the community that we're trying to support. And so I think maybe that's probably my secret. Like I'm really genuine. I don't know what other people would say about that, but I just love working with people, and I think it shows itself in the partnerships.
So folks should call you, right? If they want to do partnership helping that population, give you a ring, right?
Please.
Where do you see the organization going, like in the next 5 to 10 years? What's your long view?
Yeah, of course, I definitely want to expand our program reach. Again, that comes with funding support, but I really also want to. Our model is really plug and play, right? We always say that we can go to any communities, talking to other areas around, Kansas City, Kansas, things like that, to where we can broaden our reach. So that's one of our biggest goals, is to expand. Right now, our primary focus is the east side of Kansas City, but we can help anyone. I have people in our program that are in Florida, Connecticut, Texas. So that's probably the biggest thing is growing our programs. Also have some new things I want to do. I'm not going to share them but there are some new ideas and programs, community things I want to do that I've already started the planning for. So there are some things I'm really excited about over the next, I'll say, like I said, 5 to 10 years. I think we'll be a big organization. Of course, adding staff. Want to get a van that we can brand and do some mobile transportation of food resources with, and things of that nature. That's one of our biggest ones as well. But I would just say expansion, giving out more vehicles, things of that nature are really what we're looking to do.
In the work that you do now, what touches your heart? What fills your cup in doing this work?
You never do anything for a thank you or for you helped me, but like when those people come back and say, man, what you did ABC, right? It helped me do this, or it met this need. Seeing people's faces, like when we hand them the keys to a vehicle, or when we tell them we're going to be able to help them with some type of support, whatever that need is they had. Just that, I think that's really, I'm not going to say a motivator, but it helps, right? And so I would say that just being able to help people. I think about myself, right? I've been blessed throughout my life. I had great family support, was able to, kind of navigate corporate and things of that nature. But everybody doesn't have that same story. Some people really have some challenges. And so to be able to help people that need it is to me, is just a wonderful thing to be a part of. And I'm honored to do that, so that's what keeps me going.
Well, we're so lucky that you all are in the community and you're doing the work that you do. It's not easy work either. Got to be a good problem solver.
Yeah.
And you don't have any gray hair or lines in your face. I am really impressed.
Well, they're there. My beard, my wife tells me all the time, my beard is rapidly becoming salt and pepper. But yeah, I feel young. I feel energized. My father-in-law is a great inspiration for that too. He's 75 years old, but you would not know it. And so seeing him and the vigor he still has to help people after all these years, that's also something that keeps me running too. So, yeah.
Well, thank you, Dennis, for what you do. Soul of Santa, Do Good Foundation. Check them out. They do work beyond Santa's primary month of December. So please check them out. Dennis, thanks for spending time with us.
No, I thank you. It was an honor speaking with you. I love this, and excited for future conversations with you.
Thank you for joining us for KC Cares, Kansas City's nonprofit voice, produced by Charitable Communications, which is a nonprofit. And this is brought to you by this KC Cares segment has been brought to you by the Ewing, Marion Kaufman Foundation, www.kaufman.org. Now, if you'd like to be a guest, check out our other episodes. Go to our website, which is kccaresonline.org, and spread the love. You'll find us on Facebook and Twitter at KC Cares Radio, and on Instagram at KC Cares Online. And don't forget, you can catch us Saturday mornings at 8 a.m. on ESPN 1510 AM and 94.5 FM. Thank you for joining us on KC Cares.